Here we have 3 columns of information about roughly 1,200 different political ads, 1,213 to be exact. And in the first column, of course, we have a unique ID number for each ad. And then in the B column, we have an indication of whether the ad was an image type ad or an issue type ad. And then in the C column, we have an indication of whether the ad included a fear appeal or not. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to use a pivot table, something you've already been introduced to combine this type and fear variable into, to get each of the 4 types of ads you could get out of that combination. You could get, for an example, an image ad without a fear appeal, an image ad with a fear appeal, an issue ad without a fear appeal, and an issue ad with a fear appeal, those 4 types. So we're going to use a pivot table to find out how many of each of those 4 types of ads we have. And then we're going to use a chi-square test to determine whether the types of ads that we have there are different from what we would expect to have, and whether that difference is large enough to suggest that, that the difference stems from some non-random or systematic reason. All right, so let's get started. We're going to begin by clicking on the Data tab. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. We're going to begin by clicking on the Insert tab and choosing the Pivot Table icon right up here. You've seen this before, but here's a close-up of it. You choose that, and then a drop-down box pops up, and you need to pick the Pivot Table option. So choose that, and here's the Pivot Table dialog box, at least the first one. You've seen this before. The first thing we need to do is select the range of data we're going to work with. Again, Excel has taken a guess here and has, in this case, guessed correctly. If for some reason it doesn't guess correctly, all you have to do is click the spreadsheet icon here and then highlight the data that you want to work with. So I'm now clicking and dragging the data for all 1,214 of these cases. Click the red X. All right. Let's see, the default here is that it's going to put the pivot table in the same worksheet, so that's fine with me. And let's choose a location. Let's let's see. Let's put it here in cell E1. Okay, and that's all we need. I'm going to click OK, and up comes that that pivot table dialog box that you've seen before. Now here's what's different. We're going to set this pivot table up a little bit differently. The first thing you need to figure out is, of the 2 variables that we're going to use for this typology, the type of ad and whether or not there's a fear appeal, you need to get an idea of which one might cause the other one. And the way I figure it, the type of ad might cause whether or not there is a fear appeal involved. And so once you make that determination, then figuring out what to do down here gets a little bit easier, because what you want to do is you want to take the cause, whatever of the 2 variables you think is the cause, and put it in the column labels box. Okay, cause and column both start with C's, so that makes it easy to remember. Put the cause in the column labels box. Now put the result, that's fear, right? Whether there's a fear appeal or not. Put the result in the row labels box. Okay, result and row labels both start with R, so that's an easy way to remember. Notice that as I'm doing this, Excel is building the pivot table over here. Now there's a last step here. You need to also put the result variable, fear, in this values box right here. And what that does is that gives us counts of each of the 4, right over here, each of the 4 types of ads that we have. Okay, so we've now set up the pivot table, and you can see right away that there are 369 ads that are image ads and do not include a fear appeal. There are 60 that are image ads and do include a fear appeal. There are 580 issue ads that don't include a fear appeal, and 204 issue ads that do include a fear appeal. Okay, then we have the row totals out here. 369 plus 580 is 949. We have the column totals down here. 369 plus 60 is 429. And then here we have the grand total. 949 plus 264 is 1,213, as is 429 plus 784. Okay, that's a quick tour of the pivot table. All right, so what we need to do now is get these data into a form that we can easily use. What I'll show you in the next video is how to copy these values down here so that you can work with them a little bit easier than you could if you left them right here in the pivot table. But for now, that's how to set up a pivot table when you're dealing with two different variables that you want to cross-tabulate.